No, our party has taken a clear view in favour of enlargement, and the defence questions for the Labour Party back in the early 80s, have been resolved, and resolved some time ago, and very strongly too. We believe in NATO, we believe in a strong defence policy for Britain. The calls for unilateral nuclear disarmament have been thrown out of the Labour Party conference. Last year, indeed, the Labour Party leadership won its position on the defence question, and I believe that to be resolved. And I think that the important role that the British government is able to play, both in talks about nuclear proliferation and talks about enlargement of NATO, are immensely important, and they will be continued by an incoming Labour government. So those problems, and indeed those days, are very firmly in the past. In relation to the meeting with the President, we obviously did discuss Northern Ireland and Bosnia and these issues too, but we also discussed in detail some of the programmes of the administration. For example, in Detroit, the President was telling me about the programmes that they'd had there to encourage job creation and so forth. And we were talking really about the common economic problems of how you are enabling both business and people to put in place the right skills and technology for the modern age. And I was struck by the similarity with which both New Labour, if you like, and the President's Democratic administration are struggling with these problems and coming up with very similar concepts as solutions to them. And I'm sure that that is the way in which our type of politics will go in the future. Now, as for the visit itself, well, how would I characterize it? I think it is, the characterization will be done by yourselves, I don't doubt, in any event. But I think it has been immensely successful. We've been very happy with it, obviously, very happy with the reception both amongst the business community that's important to us. It's very important since it's sometimes forgotten by people in Britain as well as the United States that I think we are the largest investor into the United States. And the United States is the largest investor into Britain, and by a long way. We talk about Japanese investment coming into Britain, but American investment is of a far greater degree. So it is very important that our links with the business community are strong here. I also picked up an awful lot from the meetings that I've had. It was a meeting that was of enormous benefit for me, and we've established in the meetings that we've had with members of the administration, I hope, a good relationship for the future. And whether I am elected as the Prime Minister or not in Britain is a matter for my electorate. You can always make different assessments of the importance of visits such as this, but I think the visit, rather than having some electoral significance up to the election, I think the visit, I hope, would have significance and be of assistance if we are fortunate enough to be elected, because I'm a great believer in the relationship between the United States and Britain. I think it's an important relationship, and it is a relationship that is built in part on the close ties, both personally and trade and economic ties, that have sustained our two countries over a considerable period of time. And in government, I would want that to continue, indeed be strengthened.
This year, we meet as the opposition. Next year, the British people willing, an end to 18 years of the Tories, and we will meet as the new Labour government of Britain. It's exciting. But it's also a great responsibility. A chance to serve. That is all we ask. John Smith's final words from his final speech the night before he died. We owe a debt of inspiration to John Smith and a debt of honour to Neil Kinnock. I didn't begin New Labour, Neil did. I intend to repay them both in full. All I ask is the chance to serve. And at the time of the next election, there will be just 1,000 days until the new millennium. 1,000 days to prepare for 1,000 years. As a father, as a leader, as a member of the human family, I ask this question of Britain's future. We live in an era of extraordinary, revolutionary change. At work, at home, through technology, through the million marvels of modern science. The possibilities are exciting, but its challenge is clear. How do we create in Britain a new age of achievement in which all of the people, not just a few, all of the people can share? For all the people, or for a few? That is the difference between us and the Conservative Party that governs Britain today. That is the choice before us. That is the challenge of the 21st century. I want to lead Britain into this age of achievement. And today, I want to set before you how. But first, we should welcome all the representatives, the ambassadors from around the world. And I would want to welcome in particular, at this time, the Israeli ambassador and the representative of the Palestinian people, who are those from all the communities in Northern Ireland. And I would like to say this personally to the people there. No leader with this nation's interests at heart could do anything other than see this peace process through. With the Irish government, with the parties in Northern Ireland, I can assure you it will be every much a priority for me as for John Major. All the force and energy I have will be bent towards it. We have been responsible in our actions over the peace process from the outset. We will continue to be so now. Friends, I would like to give apologies for one absentee today. The National Executive invited Aung San Suu Kyi of Burma to be our guest here this week. For reasons everyone will understand, she cannot be with us. Let us hope to invite her here next year, a free citizen and an example to democracy. It's been a funny year for me. First it was Stalin, then it was Kim Il-sung, and now it's the devil with the demon eyes. Look, can't we just go back to Bambi? Loved and sagacious leader. Why not? It's what John Prescott calls me. Sometimes. I tell you something. In John Prescott, I've got the best deputy any leader could have. And if I'm fighting in the jungle, there's nobody I'd rather have with me than John Prescott. And if John Major is fighting in the jungle, there's nobody I would rather have him with than Michael Heseltine. I ask you, this Tory government, has there ever been a government in this country's history that has put itself before the British people with less to merit its re-election than this one? Just mouth the words, 5 more Tory years, and you feel your senses and reason repulsed by what they have done to our country. The party that gave us BSE, the party that set up the Scott Report, then when it found ministerial deceit, tried to ignore it, and would have got away with it but for the brilliance of that man Robin Cook. And then, Nolan. Cash for questions. And this morning, more revelations. Do you know the Tories changed the law to let Mr. Hamilton put his case? Well, we will change the law to make the Tories clean up their act. We will be tough on sleaze and tough on the causes of sleaze. And we will ask that Nolan Committee to investigate political funding. And we will legislate so as to make the Tories tell us where the money comes from for these negative and deceitful advertising campaigns. To John Major, if he wants to be seen as an honest man, fight an honest campaign. And by the way, Matthew Harding sends his regards. Here he is, this Prime Minister, so weak, so utterly incapable of stamping his authority on the government he nominally leads, that he has given birth to the first ism in politics, to denote not the existence of a political philosophy, but the absence of one. Majorism, holding your party together while your country falls apart. Still, he's got his secret weapon. And I've got mine. Kenneth Clarke. Mr. Feel-Good Factor. Let us tell Kenneth Clarke and John Major, the real feel-good factor will arrive when the people of this country say goodbye to this government for good.